run. We're waiting for the pit lane to open. Whistle's on. Let's go. All right, it's the final round of the Monster Energy Super GP Champions Trophy. We're here at the Redstar Raceway. This is where we're going to be wrapping up the season. It's been a cracker of a 2014 season so far, and this is going to be a great venue to nail down the main championships. We've already crowned the champions in the Super M's and the Super 600s, but later on this afternoon, we will be crowning the inaugural Super GP champion, the first time ever in this format of racing. Googs, the track is looking killer today.
No, certainly, Matt. The track is absolutely amazing, and it seems as if, as I said, we came here earlier on in the year, and this time around we've switched things around, and we've actually going in the different direction clockwise, and it'll be interesting to see as to how the riders actually accommodate that, and at the same time Mother Nature could play a major role this afternoon.
Yeah, for me, the way that we're running clockwise, it's a much better flow. You see better lap times and much better racing coming out of the circuit. The tarmac has been perfect, but we have been seeing afternoon thunderstorms happening here the whole way through the last 2-week period. Yesterday, even in Superpole, extremely cold conditions. Normally we'd see even hotter lap times coming out of the guys when they throw down the hammer in Superpole. This time around, it was extremely hard running. But what we did see coming out was the magical 8-ball. 8 for 8, 8 Superpole starts and 8 Superpole crowns for the king of Superpole, Clinton Seller.
Now, certainly Clinton is on a ball, and it seems as if this season has really been a textbook one for him. Wonder as to whether Lancelot will be able to make a difference in terms of the championship later on today. But nonetheless, at this moment in time, it looks like a Clinton Seller, train.
That's what we're talking about. It's a 2-horse race in the Super GP Champions Trophy. The big guns, it is between Lancelot. He comes in down on points. It's Clinton Seller that holds all the cards coming into the final round. We said we've already wrapped up the Super M Championship. Carl Robinson, he now steps out of that category into the big guns. So later on, we'll see him in the Super GP category. What we're going to be talking about, though, is a new man on pole in the Super M's, and that is Alan John Fenter, and the first time a super sport bike has actually taken pole in that category.
Which makes it very exciting, Greg, and as I said, Matt, I'm sorry to say that, but it makes it really exciting, and we should have some exciting races with the boys, especially in Super M as well as 600s. They'll be giving it hammer and tongs, and we'll see as to how they actually handle out and actually be a winner, as to whether anyone has an answer for Odendaal as well. And we know that the Rat Pack as well is probably one of the most exciting races to see, and hopefully we'll be able to see a good battle here.
Talking about the Super 600s, the Brat Pack, Odendaal is the man that has done all the good work. He has bagged points at every single round, and here's the man that has wrapped up the championship. But here today, he has got a new man to go up against, the world superbike rider, Sheridan Marias. He is back in the mix. He qualified the 2 spot, but this is going to be a completely different scenario. You're not going to see just the Kawasaki's running out front, the Yamaha, because he is filling in for injured Cameron Peterson. The Shea Show is going to really deliver today.
It is quite exciting to have an international rider that's certainly got a lot of experience, and it will be interesting to see as to whether the local boys will be able to step up to the plate as well and give him a run for his money. But of course, they're not going to let it be easy for him. Obviously, this is their championship, this is their home ground, and they'll be able to go out there and give it honks.
All right, so with the first race of the day, the Super M's. They're going to be lining themselves up there, ready to get the go on. It actually looks like with the change-up, it's going to be starting things out with the Super 600s. So that's going to be a change-up where you're going to see the guys throw it down straight away. Also in this category, watch out for the 32 of Adolf Bossoff. He is on fire, and he can really throw down a lap. 600s. We're going to hand over now to commentary. Greg is going to be on the mic there. I'll be joining him. Googs, you'll be down. We'll pick it up the action for the rest of the day. We hope you guys enjoy the action at the final round of the Monster Energy Super GP Champions Trophy here at Redstar Raceway. We are wrapping up 2014.
Super 600 is lining up now for the very first time here at Redstar Raceway in the final round here at the Redstar Raceway. It's going to be an interesting effort out there, because as we've seen and heard from Matt, it's going to be a case of second place still up for grabs. And are we going to see anything from anybody else out there who can possibly spoil the day for Stephen Odendaal, and maybe having a swan song here at the final round? Remember, he's got to go and sort it all out now from himself. He's basically done everything right to get it onto the pole position, and that's the man we're talking about right there. That is Steven Odendaal, the pocket rocket, as we like to call him. He's had a very busy season, not only here in South Africa, but also internationally in the Spanish Moto2 Championship, where he's going to be going back next year on a Kalex bike, a little bit more competitive machine. That'll certainly give him a chance of running a little bit higher up. He did get some podiums this season, but he'll look for some more and possibly some first places in that championship, and just do his chances of going even more international on us in the very near future. That's the man they're all going to try and beat. But as you heard from Matt and Gugu, the Shez show is back in the house, and Sheridan Morais certainly knows what to do to get a motorcycle at the front end of this particular category. There he is. The show is in the house. It's great to have him back on South African soil and out of the Brother M-Tech Yamaha Racing squad this time out. Ricky Morais, his dad, is there doing the final bits and checks, making sure that the Shez is all good to go. And Shez show, a big-time crowd favorite worldwide, not only here in South Africa. He's got a lot of followers in South Africa, but massive following right the way around the world, and certainly someone that we need to keep an eye on here today. We're looking at a 14-lap Super M race, so a 14-lap Super 600 race, I beg your pardon, a 12-lap Super M race, and a 16-lap 1000cc Super GP race. The other 32 out there, of course, is Adolf Boshoff. I know there's 232s on the field, but of course on our timing monitor, Adolf Boshoff will be looking at the 132. Just a quick one, guys. I don't have any timing. I've got 2 television screens and no timing. I was told that one screen was going to time. Just to give the director an indication, because you're not picking me up on talkback, I do not have a timing screen in front of me. Cool. So we've got 1 minute to go, and it looks like we're going to have so 30-second board goes up, and we're ready to rock and roll now for the warm-up lap. And it's going to be interesting. One of the big interesting points that we didn't pick up on from the word go, of course, with Matt and Gugu on the grid, Matt's just joined me now here in commentary, is the fact that Matthew Skoltz is sitting at the back of the grid. Had an issue yesterday in qualifying where they refueled the bike in qualifying, which according to the rules is not allowed to be done, and he has to start right at the back. Now this is the man who's fighting for second place in this championship. See them just starting to chop and change halfway through, getting everything sorted out on the motorcycles, getting themselves into the zone. This is what we're going to be looking for in terms of action. Another man we spoke about in the weekend, but haven't spoken about on the live streaming just yet. And if you have joined us on live streaming, welcome to Redstar Raceway. Just a few little glitches we're sorting out as we're chatting. So please excuse anything that goes out that might not be quite racing related and still technically related, because we have had a small glitch in the system here with the PA system going down. We had to make some maneuvers around here. If you are live here at Redstar Raceway, a big welcome to you as well. But on the warm-up lap, we mentioned the fact that Matthew Skoltz is going to have to start from the back due to a fueling issue in the qualifying. But another man to watch out for is the man that's right in our shot right now, the 27 Redstar Racing Triumph 675. And that, of course, is Bjorn Esman, who stepped across from the UK and is back into South African soil.
It's great to have him back, but it's one of those bikes that he hasn't spent a lot of time on. In fact, he's hardly turned any laps on the machine at all. We know it's a great bike that runs in the regional category, but on nationals, we know it's going to be way down on power. Bjorn is an incredibly racy racer, but it's going to be very tricky to fight against the Thunder, because this season we have seen almost flat-out dominance of the Kawasaki's. They're rolling to the line. That's another man to watch out for as well. Dean Foss, not a great qualifier coming out of him, and he is going to have to build and charge up. He just could not get a lap linked together in qualifying, and this is going to mean he has to start down on row number 3. Front row, all about the pocket rocket Odendahl. He realistically could run a number 1 plate on his bike, but Sheridan Marias is going to try and take the final race and the final race meeting of 2014.
Lights are on, we're ready to rock and roll for race 1 of Super 600s. Oh, and Shez gets a terrible start. Bogs down on the line, and it's the pocket rocket that gets down to turn 1 first. Look at Shelley around the outside. Anthony Shelley using a little bit of grass. Kershaw with a fantastic start up the inside, looking to come through to this Bjorn Esman. Good start from him. But it is the pocket rocket that leads out. Kershaw is second. The Shez show moves up into 3rd place. Right on his tail is Boshoff, and then it's Shelley.
Yeah, Boshoff was a little bit scrappy going into turn number 2 there. Missed his gear marker, but 1, 2, 3, and 4 are sweeping through Shelley. An inside line there, but he is going to be really battling to get the drive down. Kershaw, though, he never lets us down. He does something absolutely spectacular off the start line, and there goes Blaze Baker. Shoves it up the inside of Shelley, opens the door, and Mikey White, Magic Mike, starts charging through as well. So we are going to see an incredibly scrappy race. These first 2 laps are telling us that.
Yeah, they're going to get it all sorted out, because I mean, these guys have not raced against each other for a while. That's the one thing we need to take into account. The guys that are doing season campaigners will know exactly where they've got to be, and that's why Kershaw is up there right from the word go. The Benoni Bomber, as he likes to be known, he's on the Tsunami Kawasaki, and he's certainly putting in a valiant effort to stay with the portable shade Kawasaki of Stephen Odendahl.
Yeah, he's got some good times going. Shez right now, even though he bogged that start, he's in a good position. No one has broken away. And I don't think anyone is going to break away as well. It's going to be incredibly close. Odendahl already almost running a little bit wide there, but he's just comfortable to start building the pace and start tagging on the numbers. The top 4 have broken away though straight away. Adolf Boshoff is loose as you like in 4th place. Kershaw is looking to get the lead on this one.
Kershaw had a much better line coming onto that back straightaway, so he was able to get the better drive. It might just play into his hands. If he can get into the slipstream, look at Stephen Odendahl pulling right across the circuit, not to give any advantage to the rider behind him. So it's 44, 55, 32, and 32. And Boshoff with a very late braking maneuver nearly goes up the back end. He runs wide.
No, way too late, and that's going to get in the way of Blaze Baker, because Blaze Baker and Magic Mike were charging up there. Now it's a breakaway, and even though Boshoff is running in the 4th spot, Baker is going to get the line up, and Baker shoves it up the he tucks it. He goes too deep. He tried the line, turn number 1. Baker tucked it.
Baker goes down there, just getting it all wrong, unfortunately. Not quite exactly what we needed. And he is not a happy camper. You can see him. He is very frustrated about the maneuver that he's just pulled, and it didn't work out for him. It really is absolutely nothing in it, and I can tell you these guys are now going to have to work just as hard at the back end, because these first 3 have got away. Shelley is hanging on to that 4th place and bringing the steam train along. Boshoff made the mistake. He's now behind Shelley, and on his tail, Mike White and Dean Foss.
Yeah, Mikey White, always that rider that's going to build pace. Cannot seem to link those first 2 laps together, but he is going to be the rider to watch out from now on. He was incredibly strong the whole way through practice. Not a great qualifier, but in practice he was right up there, and Mikey White will be the rider to watch out for to bridge the gap. Himself, Boshoff, Shelley, and Foss are the 2nd group that we'll be concentrating on, because 1, 2, and 3 have checked out.
Now, it's a nice start there from these guys, but as I said, it's only the 1st lap. We're coming to complete now, so really they're into the 2nd lap of racing. We've still got 13 to go and absolutely nothing in it. Up on the screen, we're waiting for our graphic to come up and tell us exactly what's happening with those laps as they tick away, because with no timing monitor, we're going to have to be on our game here a little bit.
You're telling me it is going to be hard work. Oh, I finally got some sound in my ears, so it's all good news from the commentary side. But I tell you what, 1, 2, and 3 are get gone, and if anything, Boshoff is actually holding these guys back.
So Boshoff is the man to keep an eye on, because he's made the mistake. He's now going to rectify it. He heads up to the back straightaway now. This is the big N12 straightaway, the highway as we like to call it. And Shelley pulls out of the slipstream. And on the fur core, Kawasaki, sliding up into the top there, Supermoto style. He manages just to stay on the back end and loses a little bit of ground there as he comes into our sights for the very first first time. Whoa! It looks like there's action aplenty right the way around the circuit.
Check out the pit boards. They are twitching every single time. 1, 2, and 3 are get gone. Bossoff, Shelley, Mikey White, and Dean Foss. We're going to have to start turning our attention to just behind this as well, because it looks like Scalzi has picked up the pace, but he is making his way slowly and steadily through the traffic. The good thing is for us and for all you guys at home, you can watch that neon yellow aero helmet as he breaks his way now into a top 10 position.
Yeah, look at that. That aero helmet is certainly starting to become a threat. He's on the back end and looking for a way past, but hasn't quite found it just yet.
That looks like vessels.
He is going to be a big threat here. There's no doubt about it. Look at that, though. Big lean angle coming out of Adolf Bossoff, trying to get away from Kershaw. From Shelley, I beg your pardon. And on Shelley's tail, Magic Mike White all over the back on that Kawasaki of his. Now as they come on the braking markers, the 3 Kawasaki's been closed down.
Mikey.
Oh, big move there from Mike White, up the inside of Shelley.
And safe as well, real comfortable, shoved it up the inside there, stood it up midline. Yeah, it didn't look like he was going to be able to hang on to that one, so he got the move sent back, and in the background, Scotts has moved up another position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th place. We've got single digits for Scottsy.
Yeah, a nice run there from Matthew Scotts from the back of this big and very, very competitive field. He's got a lot of work to do to try and sort this out, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in this heat. He's going to have to come and put in a stellar ride to catch his teammate who leads things out as we speak. And he's actually pulled a bit of a gap, just looking at the shot we just saw there now. Kershaw and Shez have lost ground. Look at that. Yep. The pocket rocket has checked out. Yep. That is the gap that Steven Nordendal has pulled. That is an amazing bit of riding on that third lap.
For me, that looks like a rock solid half second at least. Here comes Shelley, 74, Shop 74, and Adolf Bossoff is loose and ugly. I mean, that thing just looks like it's all over the place on the brakes. The back end is all over it. And if you are real close to the back end of that 32, it's going to be a little bit of a hesitation. You don't want to go too close to the back end of that bike when it's moving all over the place. But what we are actually noticing now is that the gap is being bridged. Scalz is about to join this party. Give it another lap and a half. And Scalz in the background there in the neon yellow helmet will make that a 5-rider split, because that is Matty Scalz. He's on the charge, back of the pack. He is now in single digits looking for 8th place up the road. That's Dean Foss.
No, he's looking fantastic right now. So let's see whether or not he can do anything more in terms of damage to the front of this field. 3 Kawasaki's and a Yamaha fighting for what is 4th place on track. And as I say that, it looks like Bossoff is starting to turn the wick up ever so slightly. Very different lines out of Adolf Bossoff, but when I say that, he's also a very seasoned campaigner when it comes to the circuit. Him and Shelley spend a lot of time here, so he'll know that those wider lines might just prove to be some way to capitalize on losing on the ground. And speaking of losing ground, wow!
And that was
Shelley, what are you doing?
Nose. That was up. The back wheel was up in the air, all over the place. Mikey White, he's always so deep and late on the brakes. He had to pull out of that deal because he did not know where Shelley was going to go. That has taken a ton of pressure off Bossoff, and Bossoff will be able to live on and breathe a breath for half a lap at least.
Yeah, I think Shelley might be catching his breath as well, because he nearly put that nose right into the exhaust pipe.
Look at the entry speed from Mikey White. He is so fast at leaning these things, and he's got a massive lean angle on him. He loves to get the bike in nice and early, and he is getting held up. You can see his entry speed is a ton faster than Shelley. Shelley is the madman on the brakes. Mikey White is way hot coming in.
I'm loving this fact that at the back, Scalz is closing. Scalz is certainly closing. Unfortunately, we don't have a timing monitor here, so I can't tell you by how much, but he is definitely and visually closing on this battle.
Mikey White looks like he's through on Shelley, so he has done it. So the 58 is on the move, and he needed to do that as well. This is where we're going to see Mikey White start pulling the pin. 2 more laps, and he's going to try and go at it. Shelley's on the fight back. Mikey White sweeps across his node, and okay, Magic Mike, it's time to throw down some magic, because we are nearing the halfway mark of this race. He has got to go on the 58 bike and try and run with Bossoff, because Shelley is on the fight back and Foss is starting to build pace as well. And there you go. We were calling it for about 2 laps to go. Scalz all of a sudden joins the party as these guys slow the pace. Shelley and Mikey White beating each other up, and it's going to cost them both.
Oh, it's going to cost them big time, because the fact that Matthew Scalz has closed in him within half a lap is because these 3 are fighting so hard for the honor. And the honor right now is not for the podium.
It's going to be all about these guys dropping it, trying to get themselves up there. The story up the road, though, here in race number 1 of the Super 600s is that it was a 3-way split on the breakaway. Shez is in there, Kershaw is in there, and Odendahl was in there. He's not in there anymore because he is gone up the road. He has pulled almost a clean 2nd off the front of this group.
Oh, Magic White sits up.
No problem. Mikey's bike just let go.
There's an issue on that Kawasaki. That's not the way he wants to be finishing up. The CRV build machine, unfortunately, not working the way that Magic Mike wants it to. That magic is gone, and Mike White is out of this hunt. You can see him sitting up and just literally rolling around the circuit.
Yeah,
there is no drive on that bike.
I think that was it didn't look like an engine blow up or anything like that. I think it's a gearbox situation. As he went to click for the gears, he found absolutely nothing there, and he knew straight away, you could see his body language, it was gone. So what was 4 became 3. Scholz is going to be the man to watch out for in this hunt, because Adolf Bosov has got the break all the way through the shot. That's almost 2 seconds that Odendahl is off the front.
Shares up the inside for
goes
second.
up the inside, backs it in, only like Shares can at the top of the hill to get on through.
He goes through the chicane now and onto the main straight away. The Shares shows up to second place now. Is this a time for him to start moving through the field and looking to close in on that Kawasaki that seems to be disappearing at the front end? Odendahl's had a couple of laps of free air, and that's all he needs to pull that kind of gap over the Sheridan Moraes and Nicholas Kershaw.
I mean, it seems like on this lap, Shares has promised himself he's going to go. He's literally found another gear. He's given a 2.5, maybe 2 second gap to the leader in Odendahl, and now he's hit the front of the second place dice, and he's going to really charge and see what that Yamaha R6 can really do.
Yeah, look at that, sliding in as well, very Shares Show style. As he comes out of 4, heading to 5, big left-hander, triple apex left-hander. They've got to go through there, find that first 3. Now they come into the second part of the 2 straights. This is the slightly shorter one of the 2, and at the end of this straight on the 600, with these guys probably going to be close to the 200k an hour mark before they're hard on the brakes for a very sharp left-hander. And look at our Shares is just making that Yamaha sing on this circuit.
Yeah, he's loving it. He's kind of overriding it. There's Mikey White's bike. So the 58, you can see there's nothing dripping out. Nothing is properly let go, but it has been a gearbox problem. We're going to see if we can speak to Mikey White. We've got Gugu down there to try and see if we can get some kind of reaction.
Or maybe Googs can get hold of his dad and just ask, or get hold of Steve Cannon, find out what the issue was there, Googs. If you can, let us know, and then the director can let us know if we're going to have that. But Michael White just rolled in front of us, and at the moment you can see things have now started to split up a little bit here between the first 5. The battle we need to pick up on, of course, is the fact that Scholz has now caught Anthony Shelley.
Yeah, that's going to be the story to watch out for. Yeah, confirmation. We have seen Mikey White roll in and roll out. It's obviously an intermittent problem, so it's going to have to be a story to see if we can actually figure things out. Look at Adolf Bosov down the straight there. That is the man that runs 4th place, and he is waiting to see how quickly Scholz can arrive. Scholz is coming on. There's the move. He gets up the inside of Shelley.
Yeah, up the inside of the fur core Kawasaki. Nice run there from him as he comes out of the chicane. Portable shade Kawasaki now moving up nicely through the field. But Shelley's coming straight back at him. Shelley's not going to give this up. Watch out for turn 1 for a return of the favour. Shelley's very good into turn 1 and just can't sneak up the inside there of Matthew Scholz.
The drive that Shelley gets out of the final chicane is absolutely insane. If anyone tries to get through on him, he has got a chance of going for the big cutback and fight back. A good situation here is for Shelley to run with Scholz and allow Scholz to take him up the road. Scholz is climbing all over that machine, and look how much work he is doing, trying to get the big exit speed out of the 122nd of the portable shade Kawasaki's. All right, back to the racing then, out there on the circuits. It looks like the man on the move. There are 2 guys that are actually on the fly right now. The number 32 of Adolf Bosov is not too far up the road, but Scholzi is the man on fire right now. Remember, he had some mechanical problems at the previous round where he kicked his gear shifter off. He is extremely hard on the gearbox, and Scholz is still the man to watch. He is on the fly on the neon red machine. This is 4th place, Adolf Bosov, and he is now closing in on Kershaw. So Kershaw is fading backwards. I think that pace in the early stages has really hurt Kershaw, and 3rd place is up for grabs.
Maybe he's pushed a little too hard, and the Pirelli rubber maybe not at the right pressure. Remember, we're looking at windy conditions. It's not quite hot conditions out there just yet. You were on track. You can give us a bit more indication on that.
I can tell you right now, it is cold and getting colder because the wind is definitely up. And it looks like, oh, we've got Googs.
Well, we just saw Michael White having some issues out there. Magic Mike, is there any issues with the bike?
Yeah, no, there was an issue. I think we had an issue with maybe the ECU going to like a limp mode. We turned the ignition off, turned it back on, and it seems to be working again now. I sent it back out just to make sure it runs the rest of the race. We have to make sure it's right for the next race.
Thank you. Over to Matt and Greg.
Yeah, thanks Steve Cannon, thanks Gugu, giving us a little bit of indication as to what happened there with Magic Mike. Bit of a pity there for him, but I'm sure that they'll get that sorted out. He's got one of the best preppers in the country there with Steve, and hopefully they'll get that bike ready for race 2.
Okay, story to watch out for now. Look at third place. He's just up the road. Kershaw is in massive trouble. Adolf Boshoff has closed the gap, 55 versus 32. And if these guys get into it, Scholz is going to join the party. Do not write Scholz off. He's got a chance of a third place finish. Currently runs in 5th.
No, he'll definitely get up onto the podium if he can, if these two have a little bit of an in-house fight. First and second, I think, is basically sorted out. Shez has got away now. And listen, I'll tell you something. Yeah, let me give you a bit of a mully there. There's a good possibility Sheridan could close on Stephen Odendaal too. The way he's pushing that Yamaha, I know it's a big gap to sort of close down in. We don't have any indication of how many laps we've got to go, but we'll go on what we see.
Well, you know that lap when he came past Kershaw? There was something that told me he had given that gap and he was going to try and hunt it down. So he had allowed Odendaal, or we're gonna postulate that he had given the gap to Odendaal, and it looked like we just saw Yamaha rolling into the pits there as well. So we'll try and go down to the pits and see who that was. I thought for a second that it might have been Foss, but we'll try and pick up on who that rider was coming in. That if it was, that'll be the second rider having a problem out there in heat number 1. All the while we're watching. There's first, there's second. Shez is starting to bridge that gap. It is coming back.
I want to say, Matt, if it was Dean Foss, and I didn't see him roll in front of us here, but if it was Dean Foss, that is a major issue, because remember, he is fighting for a possibility of second place.
Boom. There's a change up for third. Sorry to jump in on you, Greg, but that is Adolf Boshoff going forwards. Kershaw is trying the fight back, trying to sweep around the outside. There's not much room there. There's just a wall. That is a little bit scary. Yep. It's all nothing but good news for Scholzi. Scholzi will join this party in the next half lap.
Yeah, I think what happened there is Adolf Boshoff on the previous run got a bit of a heads up from his team saying, listen, you better get a move on, because Scholz is coming. And if he gets up to you guys are going to be in big trouble. So try and follow the other 32 bike out there and get away from Nicholas Kershaw on the Tsunami Beach Bar machine. It's coming up onto this little body. He looks back. He knows that he's broken the bridge ever so slightly there with Kershaw. Kershaw's trying to stay with him, though. Kershaw has not given up.
Incredible to see the time stretch out here as well, because you can just, I'm talking about the visual time gaps that we can see. Shelley has fallen way off, and I think with 2 laps to go, it looks like the tires have really taken a hit. Not because of hot temperatures, they're not melting out there because it's cold. They've ripped up in the first couple of laps and they're just not getting drive out of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was contemplating earlier on when we went to Gugu. We were talking about the fact that it's not quite heated conditions just yet. It is getting warmer as we speak. You can see the clouds are starting to dissipate slightly. We're getting slightly higher track temperatures, but in the early stages of this race, the track was very cold. And maybe they've ripped up those Pirellis and not given them the chance. We'll get a look and see when we get to the podium. I'll let you know exactly how the condition of the tyres at the front end look. We might not get all the way down, but with 1.5 laps to go there, it says 2, but they're going on to the M1, and that means that about 1.5 laps to go for our leader.
Kershaw will be a very good tell. He had a rock and roll start. He was running second in the early part of this race, and he has slowly but surely faded back. Up the road, though, Shez not able to close in. Possibly matching almost identically the lap times of Odendaal lap for lap, but the big story has been the fight back from Adolf Boshoff and Matty Scholz. Scholz looked like he really squeezed on the brakes proper hard there at the top end of the straight. He is trying to make up time on the brakes. Scholz is normally so good mid-corner and exit. Adolf Boshoff goes through. He's sitting in third place. Kershaw is there, then Scholzi, but Scholzi looks like his charge has gone. He's run out of gas.
Yeah, well, he's still got a lap to go here. There's 4 Ks of the circuit that he can close in on both that 32 machine we see on our shot right now and the 55 Tsunami Beach Bar Kawasaki of Nicholas Kershaw. He's not going to catch the Shez show, and he's not going to get his teammate, but he will try and get onto the podium. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's all about the charge. He's trying to recover and save some championship points. I'm really concerned that even on these long shots, we're seeing no Dean Foss, and because he rolled all the way past us, we're pretty much sitting right in the middle of the pits. I think Dean Foss did come into the pits, which is really going to hurt the second and third fight for this championship.
Right, so as they head down the first straightaway, Foss, and listen, did you see that? That's Sheridan Moraes closing in on the 4-4 bike of Stephen Odendaal. If we can get to the front end, it is extremely close between Stephen Odendaal and Sheridan Moraes. Moraes is closed on Odendaal. I don't think Odendaal realized how close he is.
Yeah, it has come down to around about half a second. Yes, you can see it visibly. The 44 is starting to get reined in. So Sheridan has given himself his own challenge. He ran real slow in the early stages. I think he was doing a very clever thing in preserving those tires in the cold conditions, and he has allowed the race to come to him. Completely different lines running out of the Yamaha R6 man. So the fill-in rider with so much class in the back, Shez is on the fly, but I really don't think there is time.
Yeah, unless there's a mistake here into the final chicane from Odendaal, which is highly unlikely. It's going to be a one victory of the day going to your newly crowned champion. He runs a bit wide there though, so the pressure is certainly on. And as he comes out of the chicane, it's a short little squirt to the straight. Checkered flag will be waiting, and first victory of the day will be headed.
So here we go, international flying for one more lap. Sheridan Morais then has got one more lap to try and make it count. Our two South African riders with the most international flavor, and Shez is not going to take this one lying down. He's going to try and go for this. He really is going to try and go for this, and our first race of the day might see a massive surprise.
Can somebody hear me? Can I get the director, please? It is a 14-lap race.
So all about the first and second place, and it's come down to a last lap charge. Sheridan is going to have to give it everything he can. Stephen Odendaal will have looked at his pit board though, and will know that the Shez show is coming. But what was half a second has become nothing. There is absolutely nothing between first and second place, and Shez is going to murder that Yamaha R6 for the second half of this lap.
Well, it's all over the Kawasaki looking for a way past. There's no doubt about that. And I can tell you, Stephen Odendaal is feeling some pressure like he's never felt before. He's had international experience all season long himself in the Spanish Moto2 Championship. So you'll know how to suck that pressure up. But when you're looking at a world superbike rider on your tail, that's a whole nother ball game.
Remember, this is the Shez show. Sheridan Morais, tons and tons of international experience, and he's going for the big bang up the inside there, showing the wheel for sure. And Odendaal now knows he is in the race. Odendaal knows that it's going to come down to the brakes at the top of the hill, and they are both madmen at the top here.
Slipstream effect, baby, as they come down onto the big straightaway and now onto the braking marker. Shez is all over the back.
You check the dummy there. The shoulders came up. Odendaal sold a massive dummy to Shez show, and Shez is going to get owned because the Kawa is just going to have a better drive to the line, and this is going to be a big fly. All right, we're getting sold dummies here, but it looks like we're on the last lap now. 3 laps to go now.
Oh, up the inside of one! Sheridan Morais up the inside of one, on the knee, on the toe. Can you believe that?
A very rare
He's there!
move.
He's got him!
And he shows him again. So up the inside of turn 1, up the inside of turn 2, and that is absolutely insane. It's a very rare move to see someone dive inside 1.
Inside of 1, got it up the inside, showed the wheel, just maintained the pressure into 2. He's now got the lead going into 4. An amazing bit of riding up from the Shez show. He has bridged the gap that looked like it was untouchable and unassailable, but he has got there and got past.
That is a very hard pill for Stephen Odendaal to swallow. Even though he has been crowned champion, you do not want to get beat at the last race of the season, and you certainly don't want to get beat by someone who has been out of this championship for the entire year and has, well, done hardly any laps on that bike.
You know, the thing that I'm seeing here is a stamp of authority coming out of the Brother M-Tech Racing Yamaha squad. They know they had machinery that was compatible and definitely a machine that could fight with a Kawasaki. Unfortunately, their number 1 rider, and when I say that, the number 1 rider from last season, and that is Cam Peterson, who is still injured, and why Sheridan Morais is riding, had the potential to take the fight to Stephen Odendaal. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. But this just shows that that bike can run with the championship winning bike.
Yeah,
and we would have had a whole nother ball game had Shez been here all season.
Yeah, the 2014 season, we knew there were 2 bikes to be on, basically, with the MV stepping out. It was going to be all about the Yamaha R6s, which always deliver a good package, but for 2014, they had stepped up the power, so they were able to bring some kind of package to the fore to beat out the Kawasaki's. But this is a show of note and a show of domination, like you say. It has been all about Kawasaki's this year.
It is the Shez show now, though. That's the show changer and the show stopper. And are we going to see a flag this time? No, we're not. Still no flag.
But the pit
so we're
wall
just getting
is going
dummies
crazy.
here, left, right, and center.
Please look in the background, though, Greg, because as they came onto the straight, there is a 3-horse race in the background, and we need to start looking at that battle. It looks like Shez is going to be able to maintain. Let's pick up on the 3rd place battle, because there's a 3-way split with Matty Scholz hopefully climbing up to the front of that one. Matty Scotts, we're waiting to see if the neon yellow helmet appears first or if it's still the 32 of Boshoff.
Oh, they come out of turn 3 now. That's where oh, it's still Boshoff hanging in there. So the Crutchlow Arrow hangs on ahead of that luminous yellow helmet. And I tell you, that Arrow helmet is looking and hunting for a chance to stick onto the podium. Right from the back of the grid. That is a phenomenal effort there from him. But remember, he had to come from down in 15th place. He's now got a chance of getting into 3rd if he can find a way past Boshoff.
Yeah, we called this one out. Boshoff is definitely going to be, well, we call him a bit of a wild child. He takes a lot of risks out there on the circuit. Matty Scotts, even though he's got a wild style, he is polished in that wild style. And I think he's just going to let Adolf Boshoff do all the work. A good recovery and a great fight back and hang on ride for Kershaw, though. It looked like he'd be going backwards and quickly. He has stayed with these boys.
It's an amazing bit of riding here from Kershaw. The tyres looked like it had gone. Maybe he was just taking a bit of a breather. And now might just throw in something into the works here to spoil the day for the other 2 Kawasaki riders in front of him. Toy Store Suzuki has a Kawasaki, and it's piloted by the man in front of this battle, that is Adolf Boshoff. Then you've got the portable shade Kawasaki, who is now 2nd place in the championship, and will probably wrap up 2nd place in this championship because of the fact that Dean Foss. But look at that! At the front end, Odendahl's in it!
And Odendahl took shares way wide that time around. And that was another big move just to show some kind of dominance. Odendahl did it all on the brakes, and we are still out there and racing. So this is all fight backs, and this is a big fly out. I pray that we are on the last lap of this race because this is getting into a proper nail biter. They are both out there to show dominance, and they could end up taking each other down the road.
I'm just amazed at the way that these guys are giving it absolutely everything they can. This is your current and newly crowned Super 600 champion, fighting with an ex-multiple South African Supersport and Superbike champion in his own right with Sheridan Moraes on that Yamaha. The 3rd place battle, unbelievable stuff out there.
So 1 and 2 is on the cards. That's what we're going to be picking up on. But also, it's going to be the fight to see if Scotts can get through an Adolf Boshoff. I've got to think that he will. But the story of this big fight back for Yamaha, and they needed it. Look at these guys. They're both crossed up left and right, backing it in as late as you absolutely dare. And watch these guys spin the rubber on the way out of these turns. This is probably the best last lap we have seen out of this season.
It's been really cool between these two. A lot of respect between the 2 riders too. Looks like Checkered Flag is standing by, so we are on the last lap, and we are going to be heading down into the final part of this last lap. They go through the right-hander here. It's a flick over onto the left-hand side, and it's a big double right-hander that takes them onto the N12 highway straight away.
Watch Shares here. He is so crazy. You've got that inside line, a double apex. He builds, he gets that thing spinning up, and he will be tucked in, and he will be a Fender trailer the whole way down the straight. Odendahl will hug the inside until the very last second, until he has to come over. Shares is going to go for the big dive. No. It looks like it's controlled, though.
I think Odendahl's got this one. The checkered flag is waiting. I mentioned it about 5 laps ago, but the checkered flag is actually waiting this time. And flag is going to come out for the first victory, and that is the way to do it. Seal your championship with the first victory after sealing it, and the victory goes to Portable Shade Kawasaki. And on his tail, wow, what a great dice between the 2 of them. Shez loved it. You see the respect and the thumbs up there from the show, and he knows that they put on a great effort here between the 2 of them.
Just an absolute cracking dice. We'll have to see who got that 3rd place coming across the stripe now, and who knows or dares to dream. Adolf Boshoff was in the hunt for it, but it was all about the big charge from behind from Matty Scotts to see if he actually nailed that down. We'll have to go down to the podium. Greg, I'll send you guys down there. Let me know what those tires look like and how pumped Odendahl and Shez are after that race. So the first heat of the day is in the bag, and I'm out of breath already. That was absolutely fantastic. It felt like a very long race, though, and stretched out a little bit longer than we were expecting. We'll be moving forward into the second heat, which will have the same duration as the Super 600s. That will be the first heat of the Super M's, where we will be talking about the build-up of Alan John Fenter onto the Triumph 675R for the first time this season, and getting himself into a position where he was able to pole position on a super sport machine for the first time in that category, fighting against the might of the big super 1000cc machines in that race. So right now we are wrapping up and moving forward into the podiums for the first heat of the Super 600s, and we'll bang it in there. right, so Odendahl, your first victor of the day, the portable shade Kawasaki rider on the ZX6. You already nailed down the championship at the previous round, and here was just a glory run, putting on the show, and what a show it was. At one stage, he was able to pull out 2 seconds over the rest of the field before Shez got through on Kershaw, and after that, Shez went a-hunting. He was able to rein in 2 seconds, and the last 4 laps of this race had everyone on their toes as the top Yamaha rider on the day and the top Kawasaki rider on the day went dukes out and blocked each other almost every single turn. Bikes will be coming into the pits very shortly before we go down to a brief podium ceremony and some reaction from the riders. And after that, we'll be going into our first heat of the Super M's. Story down at the podium. Odendahl comes in and he does what a champion should do. After nailing down the championship, he nails down a victory when he doesn't even have to, just putting on a show and proving to himself and the world and his team what he is capable of doing when pitted against the rest. That's a great shot there as well. Cameron Peterson, the injured rider, he stepped off the bike. Shez Show stepped on the bike, and he did his team and the rider he's replacing proud. We've got Greg down there, and he's going to be catching up with some of the riders before we go into the podiums.
Matt, I can tell you right now there is absolutely nothing wrong with any of these tires. They have gone through that battle we've just seen in absolutely perfect conditions, and the tires are still looking pretty tasty as well. I hope you guys can hear me because I can't hear myself, but anyway, we'll just keep going and hope you are hearing me going out here. But a phenomenal effort from these 3 riders. It's great to see such a big effort from a lot of guys. It's the first time I've seen 2 32s on a podium at the same time, but of course that's how it's all worked out here in first race of Super 600s.
Yeah, hearing you perfect, Greg. All good down there.
All right, so we're going to try and... It's not going out on PA, though. It is? Okay, cool. 1, 2. All right, so looking good here for our first podium of the day. Let's get them up onto the podium. It's great to see a young man from Toy Store on the podium here in his first effort here against the top guys at Redstar Raceway. In third place today, ladies and gentlemen, it's Adolf Bossoff up on the podium. He wanted to come talk to me first, but we're going to get him on the podium first. There he is. Second place and a welcome return back into South Africa and filling the shoes very nicely for the Brother M-Tech Racing Yamaha team. He's back in South Africa after a magnificent effort in the World Superbike level. Let's hear it for the Shez Show himself, Sheridan Marias. And it looked like our new champion was going to be better than his first time of trying to keep that #1 plate from anybody else. But unfortunately, he managed to beat the man in second place right at the end in the closing stages. Up on the #1 spot of the podium today for Portable Shade Kawasaki, your newly crowned 2014 Super 600 champion. Let's hear it for the Pocket Rocket, or Pooch as he likes to be known, Stephen Odendahl. Third place award given by Mr. Anthony Lata to Adolf Bossoff. Second place by Mr. Stephen Watson from Gas Sports to Sheridan Marias. And Mr. Wayne Riddell from MSA will be handing out first place to Pooch, Stephen Odendahl. Ladies and gents, your first podium for Super 600 is here at the final round of the Monster Energy SuperGP Champions Trophy. Let's get some interviews with these guys quickly and find out how it went out there, because looking at the way things went in terms of tyres, we'll start with third place there. Adolf, come on down and join us and see exactly what went down. You had a tough time right at the end there because Matthew Scholz had to come right through the field. Eventually got to you, but he couldn't get past you.
Yeah, for sure. Me and Matthew at the last 2 laps, we had an awesome DAS. Yeah, the tires, they weren't gripping at all. And yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone, RSA Racing, Mantella, my dad, my mom, everyone. This is, I couldn't do this without them. Thank you so much, guys.
Good effort out there, I got to say. But now we've got another race to go a little bit later on, and those two seem to get away. You weren't able to match the pace. What are you going to do to try and sort that out?
Definitely going to try to stick to them. Yeah, at the first corner, I had a bit of a high side, and then they pulled a bit. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do.
So no more high sides and follow those two.
Yeah, try to keep it on the black wheels, eh?
Awesome stuff. Good job. Let's get the show in here as well. Shez Show. Awesome to have you back in South Africa, buddy. It's been a while since we've chatted to you, but fantastic effort out there overseas, first of all. Congratulations. But today, it was a tough day. You can see that the level has certainly raised now that Monster Energy Super GP Champions Trophy is here in full effect.
Yeah, 100%. The 600 class is tough. And I think I've been eating too many pies and cakes and stuff because Stephen blew by me down the straight. So, yeah, but, man, it's super fun. And I don't think you guys realize Adolf is 15 years old, you know. He's on the podium of nationals, and there's plenty fast guys. So, yeah, he's got a bright future. Stephen, well done. It was a lacquer racing with him, and, yeah, everyone's spinning up and sliding. It's good fun. Well done.
How was it out there in terms of the grip? Because I know that Adolf mentioned there was a little bit of a battle for grip initially, but I think they're looking at the way that the tyres are worn, not too shabby.
Got to remember, we're riding with SE2 tires. You know, that's like some bikes come out standard with these tires. So yeah, it's not made for traction. So I don't think it's too bad, to be honest. It's the same for everybody. So yeah, I mean, if I'm sliding, so are they. So it does make it tricky, but I think this is one of the better circuits for them.
You certainly enjoyed the sliding at some points because you got to slide up the inside of Stephen and got to the front eventually. It shows that the Yamaha has got the pace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've seen it with Cam and Deem. They've been fast all year, a lot of crashing and stuff, but, you know, the bike is definitely capable. You just got to try and calm down the backing in. But other than that, awesome bike.
Good stuff. And now possible win for race 2 and maybe the last win of the season for you?
Yeah, we'll give it everything like we did now. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much, Shez. Good job. Pooch, get on in here, big guy. I think one of the hardest fights you've had all season, that's for sure, other than with your teammate. But your teammate wasn't there. He could possibly be there for the second one, though.
Yeah, you know, it was a really difficult battle for me. It was really difficult because I went from the beginning, like my team told me to just go straight from the beginning. And unfortunately, I was just fading a little bit, lap by lap. The tires were sliding a little bit, and Sheridan caught me very quickly, you know. And I knew if I got past him, I had to play the blocking game because he definitely had a little bit more pace in the end of the race. But, you know, everyone's riding really good, and I'm very happy with the first position. You know, I just want to thank everyone that's been behind me, and I just want to end the season off on a good high, you know, for next year.
Well, that's one done. You still got one more to go, and hopefully you can get the double on the day. That'll be the way to sort out the crowning at the previous round.
Yeah, you know, it's not necessary, but obviously everyone would like to go out with a double win, so that's what I'm aiming for. Full gas.
Awesome stuff. Looking forward to race number 2. Thanks so much. Let's hand you back to Matt.
All right, so the pits are open, and a word to the wise. The weather, well, I'm not going to say it's settled, but it seems to have calmed itself down a little bit. The big wind isn't pumping. There's just a delicate breeze going tail side down the finish straight as we run clockwise on the Redstar Raceway circuit here at the final round of the Monster Energy Super GP Champions Trophy. No sign of the storms that were kicking around at this stage of the day yesterday. That started to come from Benoni Sand side and crawl its way around, mercifully not hitting us, but was tickling around, skirting the edge of the circuit. Certainly cold conditions. All of the categories, teams and supporters will have noted this and changed up the settings on the bike, certainly the suspension and the tires, having to react to the changing conditions. The riders also in themselves, they know they can't force the front end too hard, and they certainly can't get on the gas too hard as well. Not enough heat in the tarmac, possibly enough grip as well. The Pirelli boys said, you know, these tires are good for all conditions. It's true, they are, but certainly you have to ride around the conditions. We saw with Anthony Shelley and a number of other riders losing the front, or in Shelley's case, the back end, and this circuit is all about edge grip. You can see the 600 boys rolling out with brand new, fresh Pirelli rubber, the telltale sticker, letting us know they are all hooked up. Mikey White, one of our guys that had a technical problem on his machine, he is out. Adolf Boshoff, third place finisher, rolls out on the 32 machine. Ricky Lee Ria just sweeping around his outside. Ricky Lee not having the best day, struggling for setup and not getting the bike dialed in exactly how he wanted to. Many of the riders saying that this weekend Redstar Raceway just not offering the grip that it normally does, purely based on the weather conditions and having to find completely different setups. Some of the guys even dropping half a bar out of their tires just to find some kind of setup. And of course, the
those situations with the bikes getting dialed in, causing their own problems, and the riders and teams scratching their heads. Scott had to start from the back. He's going to have to do the same thing once again and charge. Scott's, though, is going to be a big threat this time around. Laps of racing, a repeat from race number 1, and we are confirmed at a 12 lapper this time around. So watch for the big guns. I think Kershaw is certainly going to be a man to watch out for in the early stages on the Tsunami Beach Bar Kawasaki ZX6, and he is looking to go all out. 14 laps, I'm confirming 14 laps. So 14 laps, it still doesn't change my statement about Nick Kershaw getting a big hole shot, but there are some key players and everyone is lined up ready to go. And this, for the Super 600s, is where we start wrapping up our season, Greg. This is where we start to be able to say, last race.
Yes, indeed. Final race of the season. Udendaal's taken one. He wants to take a double. He did mention that on the podium, that he'd like to make it a double on the day and ensure that he has now sealed the deal in terms of his championship. And I'm sure that he's got the potential to do that. Whether or not anybody else is going to try and spoil that for him, the one man to take into account with that is going to be the Shez show. So Sharon Marais, having a chat to him in between the races, he was saying, all good. He's just battling with that bike, and he's even thinking that the 14 laps that was decided may have been a little bit too much. But speaking about a man that has spent a season at World Superbikes racing much longer distances than what he is right now, the factor that he brings in is that we're on road racing tires. They're not complete full race slicks that the World Superbikes race on. Pirelli are our suppliers, of course, for 2014, and will be heading into 2015 as well. But the SC2s that we've decided to ride with are your pretty much a road tire. So the potential that they have is very good, but they're not quite up to the length of the races that we've got. And I think that the Pirelli guys will probably back me up on that and say that, yes, they are very good. But when we're looking at the kind of lap times that these guys are doing and the kind of pressure, and not tire pressure I'm talking about, but the kind of pressure that they're putting on each other to try and take race victories and pushing their bikes to the limit, the tires are certainly going to feel it. Pooch is on pole once again, and Portable Shade Kawasaki having wrapped up 2 championships now with Seller's victory, and Pooch taking it at the last one. Stephen Udendaal certainly is looking for that double. It would be a fantastic way to wrap things up here for the 2014 season for this man. He's been overseas and here in South Africa racing in 2 separate championships. He went really well in the Spanish Moto 2, so well that in fact next year he picks up a slightly better ride, or it's the same team but a better machine to play on for next season, which is great to see. And his dad Derek on the grid there with him, one of his biggest supporters, and of course has spent the last 4 or 5 weeks back and forth from Europe getting his championship all wrapped up. Second place, another man who's come all the way from international duties. We mentioned him earlier on, and it's nice to see his sister on the grid there as well, assisting as Broly Babe, the Shez show in the house. Once again, part of the Brother MTech Racing Yamaha squad. Pride Logistics, of course, one of his supporters, and looking forward to seeing whether Shez can make his first dib at a victory in South Africa for this season. He has got potential to do it. We've already seen that. We've shown just how good that little R6 is. And with the man on there, the Shez show, as we like to call him, he certainly has got a chance of getting that first step on the podium, his for race 2. Third place, of course, is going to be the second number 32 bike. There are 2 of them out there, yes, indeed, incredibly. One is Adolf Boshoff, and that's the man we see right now. RSA Racing, Mantella, and it's a Kawasaki that is sponsored by, of course, also the toy store. And he has got an awesome machine underneath him.
Love to see him running the new Crutchlow helmet colors as well for 2015.
Yes, indeed.
So he's hoping a little bit of that luck soaks in. But this kid has got a long and bright future. I mean, when you're talking about Shez at the end of the first race, 15 years old, it blows us away every single year. One of these guys, a phenom, comes out of the lower categories, climbs the ladder, and boom, arrives into national category racing. He arrived for the splash at, was it Swartkoffs? He was absolutely insane there. Went down, a little bit of a altercation with him and Dean Foss. A little bit of experience, and that's going to come into the fore, but there's plenty of time in the bag.
Let's have a look and see. We go to the fourth rider, and as they move across to the fourth rider, which of course is going to be Nicholas Kershaw, looking at the way that Kershaw finished up, he has now moved into a shot, and it's actually Matthew Scholz, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, based on finish,
Scholz, based on the finish there. No, it's based on second fastest lap time out of the qualifying, so that's why he's up there, and it didn't affect his second fastest lap time for qualifying, his misdemeanor of refueling in qualifying. So he is in fourth. Scholz, followed by Blaze Baker and Michael White. That's if Blaze Baker and Michael White are there. Looking down just in between the 2-minute board, I see Baker's...
Whitey's
and
there.
White is definitely on the left-hand side, the 5.8 bike, for sure.
And we were talking about this off camera, in fact, yesterday. A lot of those riders coming from what we used to know as the the GP 125s and the Moto 3s. Those kids are what we were hoping and are hoping to come out of the KTM junior class.
I'm just looking on the grid there, and I do see Anthony Shelley. It was one thing I was concerned about after his little crash on the BMW. As they start their warm-up lap, I'm just going to run through how things stand going into this championship. This is unofficial, of course. Stephen Odendahl now with a 331-point lead over Matthew Scholz's 242. So Scholz coming through and finishing up so nicely in race number 1 has given him second place in this championship. There is no way that Dean Foss can close in on him. Dean is going to have to settle for third in the championship and first of the Yamahas in the Super 600 class. Nicholas Kershaw did a great job. He has moved into fourth place on 152 points. Blaze Baker and Anthony Shelley are now tied in fifth place on 132 points each. Cam Peterson still with a chance there in seventh place on 109, but Nicole van Arswegen would have closed in on him, having scored some points in race number 1. So there's a possibility that Cam may even fall out of 7th and down into 8th place with Nicole van Arswegen moving up, depending on what happens with Michael White. Michael White had an issue in race 1. If he gets it right in race 2, he may even get past Cam as well.
Yeah, he said it was intermittent and having problems with the ECU, so a bit of a heartbreaker for Magic Mike. But this season in this category, and thankfully we say it every single year, I hope that the trend continues. There are so many breakout rides and breakout stories to talk about. Mikey White, I mean, he almost came from absolutely nowhere. One of those riders that came from the GP 125 category. Also Blaze Baker, he was in that category. So was Rudman. And those are the guys that are breaking through. And it's a point that I was trying to make before, that missing the junior category, the category that we will have next year, the KTM Junior Trophy on the RC 390s. Those are the kids that we will see starting to come in, possibly for the 2016 and 2017 season. Once they have full main circuit national experience, they'll be able to come in. But look at the talent in that shot.
Yeah, it's incredible. One of the talent riders that we're picking up on as well, also had international duties this year, is the white bike in the middle of the shot there, the 27 of Bjorn Estman. He's come out of British Super Sports, I beg your pardon, in the BSB Championship. He's had a great season with James Egan, another of our international exports there. He's stayed over. Bjorn has come back, and it's great to have him back in a South African Championship field again as part of Redstar Racing, also on a Triumph 675.
Yeah, just a way to wrap his season up before he heads to the beach and gets a tan. But these guys are lining themselves up. 14 laps confirmed. Very long time for these guys to be out there, and they'll have been working that into their equations. 1, 2, and 3 as they finished getting themselves lined up. Matty Scholz now in that position where he is, fourth place, a great starter, and he is going to be one of the key players this time around. Doesn't have to fight through the field. Not a great run. Blaze Baker, a good drop of line. Adolf Bossoff and Shelley. Shelley actually runs out of space. He runs so hard, and he tries to sweep around the outside. But, oh man, Blaze Baker really beat up Adolf Bossoff. Bossoff has gone way out of the top 6. He's going to get beaten up badly. Mikey White jumps up, fourth place for Magic Mike. So he is going to be praying that his bike can hold together. And he goes, he's trying to go for third place on the inside of Kershaw. So some key players and some race 2 specialists up in the mix once again.
Yeah, a magic start there, I've got to say, and let's see if they can keep it all together now. Scholz under pressure from Blaze Baker. Baker now has to make up lost ground, because remember, that crash in race 1, lap 1, certainly did not go according to the plan that he had in place for this weekend. He would love to be a bit higher up, and I'm sure fighting for position on the podium, and he's not too far off it now. If he runs with Scholz, he could get up there.
Look at this, we're looking at 8 bikes And out of 8, one of them is a Yamaha. That is the Shez Show right now. Voss is having a rough last round. He is getting beaten up way down there. He is the second of the Yamahas, but the third of the Yamahas is right behind him, and that's the Baby Blue Rudman.
The hardest beat-up rider right there is Adolf Bossov.
Oh, yeah,
Look
he
how
got
far
sent.
He has gone down. Wow. Didn't get off the line at all, and really battled into this first half of the lap, going into the second half now.
Couldn't get fight off the line, Greg. Got hung out to dry. Outside of turn 1, outside of turn 2, no fight back, and it was because the rest of the guys were way up the inside. Mikey White came charging through. He force plays Baker up the inside. Baker had a good run as well, and he sent everyone else to the back.
Amazing, and how quickly that happens. Look at that, Anthony Shelley, I've got to mention as well. I did see if he was on the grid. He is certainly there, and he is certainly fighting hard as Shez goes on the inside. Wow, Baker looking for a chance to sneak through.
Check those
Skulls.
front ends hopping. Everyone
Yeah.
was loading those forks up to the maximum, and that's dangerous. Mikey White, I saw him at the regional load those front forks up, and they let go at the top. So these guys cannot squeeze too hard at the top end.
Baker, foot out, going into turn 1, trying to close in on Scotts. Scotts is the man with a big yellow and bright yellow helmet, heading into turn 2 now. Watch out in the background as we see a move there from Bossov. Bossov had a big move just in the background of our shot. He runs wide, and he's got through on Baker.
Yeah, he
So
took
Bossov
Baker
got
wide.
through.
He took Baker way wide, and Baker was all kinds of loose there, but that is not going to be a fast overtaking move. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, a small gap, maybe bike and a half to Scotty. Scotty will do at the bottom, but this is our classic end to the season, the Super 600s. There are going to be 8 riders all over each other the whole race.
Can I tell you that the classic end to the season is also exactly how the season started. There are 7 motorcycles fighting for honours at the front end of this field, and that is exactly what we've seen all season long.
Back end,
yes,
so
there's
these bikes wagging all over there, man.
Yeah, and there are a couple of other riders that haven't been at the front end there, but they are there now, and they've just grown in progression, grown in confidence, and are certainly now championship threats.
Yeah, Michael White, look at that. It astounds me how much entry in mid-corner he is able to run. And one of the few riders in this category that does throw the elbow and shoulder onto the ground. He's not super tall, but he's rangy, man. He climbs all over that thing.
He loves that motorcycle too. He really has. He's in his element when he gets onto 2 wheels, that is for sure.
Oh, man.
Looking for a way around the outside of Kershaw. Battle of the 5s there, 58 and 55. And the Tsunami Beach Bar bike is certainly feeling pressure coming from behind.
Michael White's talent is actually the change of direction, the hard flip. He is so good at that, he really is. Kershaw, though, look at this, he's going to be enjoying that. He is trying to tag through. Oh, Mikey White was almost close enough to make the move. The top 2 are starting to separate themselves early, Greg.
Shez is trying to get away from this battle behind him, but he is also losing a little bit of Pooch, as he likes to be known, down into turn 1, leads things out over the Shez Show. Then the Benoni Bomber, Magic Mike on his tail. Scotty, the Schlunga Rocket is certainly looking good. Yeah, he's not out of it, I can tell you. He's probably just biding his time. He is also a very, very talented rider when it comes to pacing himself through a race.
Mikey White, middle line there, going through turn number 3, gives him a real good setup, a real good line and drive, but he is in the danger zone right now. Scalzi is going to be coming through. Scalzi is just in a nice position right now. Remember, he was 4th place on the grid. He sits 5th wheel at the moment, but there's plenty of time. As long as no one breaks away and there's no mistakes in front of him, he should still be able to keep going forward.
I'm just loving the fact that it's so close here for this final round and final race of the season. Oh, Shez had a look. Shez had a big look there, and on the brakes, Michael White hangs on and keeps Scholz out. Matthew Scholz can't find a way through just yet, but he is certainly well within striking distance. Baker has lost ground now that Bossov has got through, so Blaze Baker's bike not performing like it was in the first 2-3 laps of this race, or 2 laps I should say of this race. We've got 12 to go. And then Anthony Shelley just hanging on, trying to score as many points as he can, because remember, Shelley and Baker are fighting for what is going to be 5th and 6th place. They're on equal points right now. Baker is just ahead of Shelley, so that's a battle to look out for in terms of our directors. 7th and 8th place, bike 51 and bike 74. That is the battle for 5th and 6th in this championship. They are on equal points going into this race.
I'm amazed that the top 5 have jumped out as hard as they have, and there's been a couple of those mistakes. Bossoff and Baker, the double Bs, they're the guys that have made the mistakes, and those are the guys that have created that gap. There goes Shelley, there's Baker, and Shelley, oh, he had to back out. Look at that, it's a midline, there's almost a half block, so a real slow entry for Baker, and just squeeze Shelley to the wire.
That was a prime example of how Valentino Rossi started that foot-out maneuver on Sete Gibernau, and at that point, it was Shelley who was Gibernau. He couldn't get past the foot-out of Baker.
Couldn't get past the leg. I feel pretty bad to take someone's foot if I was racing.
And he's already had a crash today, so he doesn't want to have another one. They're working frantically to get the Tarpe BMW. There he is, up the inside. Oh, they are side by side. What is this, Polo Cup racing here?
And Baker will be able to fight him back and deliver and re-deliver the move. Shelley, though, this is just slowing the pace badly. They are, look at that. They have dropped a clean second off the back wheel, extra off the back wheel of the 32 Apostle.
We're looking at championship wrapped up and second place wrapped up. Dean Foss, third place is wrapped up. Kershaw, if he stays where he is going to take fourth place in this championship. So this is 5 and 6 on the championship, but it is 7 and 8th place on the road, and Rudman is coming.
Yeah, Rudman, he's been a little bit quiet since Durban, to be honest, as Rudman, but you know, he's got a couple of rookie moves in his hand, and he is one of those riders. In fact, the Yamaha boys, I'm going to throw the blanket statement, the Yamahas are so good at the late breaks. They don't seem to twitch out.
Let's see if he's able to find an untwitching maneuver to get past on these two Kawasaki's. It's the Furcore Kawasaki of Anthony Shelley.
I'm going to jump in there, Greg. Just as we blurred away from that shot, I think I saw a change of lead. It looked like the Yamaha, the lead Yamaha, was going to the lead. He was climbing up the inside of Odendaal. He definitely did climb underneath him. I saw that shot, and I think he's trying to get gone now.
All right, this is where you set it up last time. Remember, through the big double right-hander that goes onto the back straight. It's slipstream city time, and watch for Shares on the brakes down.
Scotts, he's all the way up in third quickly.
Well, Scotts has got through that field pretty rapidly while we were picking up on the 5th and 6th place in the championship battle. Here goes the move for the lead. The Shares show up the inside. Odendaal gives him some space.
Yeah, and it's all good news for Scotts. Thank you. I've joined the party. 1, 2, 3. Get the freight train, buy the tickets. Let's check out, because these three are going to be able to run.
They're going to run and hide and get away from the battle for 4th place now, which is Michael White up to 4th.
Shares just putting on the show. That's why he's called that. Watch for him to throw double legs out as well. That's when you know he's in the zone.
Oh man, it's just poetry in motion right there. Brother M-Tech Yamaha of the Shares show getting a little bit sideways on occasions and keeping it smooth on occasions as well. Keeping both of the portable shade couple. Scotts was like nearly elbow, and that was the chin piece of the helmet nearly on the ground.
I'm going to go buy him an earlobe spray paint for Christmas, because that thing is hanging out. And he's another one of those riders that doesn't mind climbing on the bike. Zaus-esque, and he likes to ride his bike completely loose. You know, that thing is all over the place. Odendaal, very precision. The bike is never out of shape. Scotts is loose, and he loves it that way.
Well, the back end of Shares starting to flip and flap around there.
Early this time,
It was one of the concerns he had when I spoke to him in between the races, Matt. I caught up with him just in the training center office getting some times, and he was saying, you know what, they are working these bikes so hard. The Pirellis are working double time to keep the traction going, and every time they push it to that limit, you can see just how the bike starts to flip around.
Yeah, literally, unless it's a flowing turn, if it's a turn on the brakes, the back end of Shares' bike in particular is ragging loose. Oh, a moment for Scottsy. Almost flicked himself out the seat there, and now that gives the breakaway. That is a good situation for Mikey White. He's going to be able to pounce quick.
Mikey White wants a podium. Can you imagine that?
He hasn't.
He is going to fight hard now with Scotts to take that podium. And the CRV build man is certainly going to be fired up. He's brought Tank along. He's been good luck for him so far this weekend. That's his bulldog puppy, and he's going at it bulldog style here with Matthew Scotts.
I would really like to see that, you know, to be able to get some new blood on the... Oh, again, the front end of that bike is almost taking Scottsy out of this situation. And when I've seen him ride like this before, that creates another problem. He starts to ride too hard, he times up, he gets aggressive, and he causes more problems. Scotsy's in trouble.
Also, onto the back end of Kershaw. Kershaw just looking to maintain where he is to get 4th place in this championship. And a valiant effort there from the privately entered Tsunami beach bar machine. So he is certainly going to be just happy to stay where he is, and maybe even give Bossov a bit of a chance to get through. But wow, the show is on, and Shares is putting it on big time.
9 laps to go. I said this is going to be around about a 7 or 8 rider breakaway. It's coming back and forth. It looked like it was going to be a 5 rider split. Then there was that big mistake from Scotts. Also a mistake from Kershaw. It has allowed a 3 rider split, and you can see that Mikey White's bike is not able to run the same numbers as the top 3. So a podium may happen, but he's going to have a lot of luck. Scottsy has shaken it off, whatever problems he had on that lap, where he had those 2 big moments. He's regrouped, and he is about to rejoin the top 2.
So portable shade Kawasaki's 2 and 3 trying to close down Sheridan Marias, the Shez Show on that Brother MTech Racing Yamaha.
Odendahl uncharacteristically a little bit loose there as well. You see on the flip overs where you change the direction hard, right to left to right, whatever it may be, his bike's a little bit wild.
Starting to feel the length of the races now on those tyres, on the bikes, on their bodies. I'm going to say the first 10 riders on this field are extremely fit young men, and certainly can hang on to these motorcycles for a lot longer than what is 8 laps and 2 corners.
Look at that great shot, 1, 2 and 3. Mikey White hanging on by the skin of his teeth, but he may end up finding himself in no man's land, and if Bosselov starts pulling the pace, he's going to have to work hard, though he should be able to bridge that gap. Kershaw, I don't know if he's taken that little quarter race gap, breather like he sometimes does, and then he's going to regroup. If he does that thing, he just takes a couple of laps out.
Takes a breather, sets himself up here, and then makes it last.
Scott's
55.356 is the lap time coming out of Matthew Scott's, moving him well within striking distance again of Stephen Odendahl and Shez Show. But when he got there the last time, he then started to have a bit of a front end problem. So I don't know if it's when he's pushing hard or when he actually gets too close to the bike in front of him that issue starts to come into play.
It's coming out of the turns when the front end comes up. He's not running, he's either not running a steering damper, or he's got the clicks too far out, because the bike tends to wag, like we saw with Seller's bike as well. Yeah. Maybe it's a setup thing. It's a loose is fast. When you're fast, you're on the edge. It's one of those things.
Yes, thank you very much.
Days of Thunder. I'll bring it back.
Cold trickle, baby, cold trickle. You can be rowdy, I'll be cool.
I think not.
Well, let's get rowdy about what's happening at the front end of this race, because this is what it's all about in the Super 600 class. It has been like this all season long. We have had battles royal, and ones that have gone down historically as some of the best racing in this country.
Yeah, I love it. The Brad Pack never fails to deliver, no matter what. I love it when it's a little bit closer, but the big straights on the Redstar Raceway, even though we call this a technical circuit, there are 2 big straights that are the separators when it comes to a little bit more magic happening from the hands of the engineers.
Magic Mike is in the race. He's sitting in 4th place ahead of Bosselov still, and there they come into a shot. He looks back. He knows that Bosselov is coming. Kershaw has taken the break, but he's also lost a bit of ground. And just behind them it is Anthony Shelley, and Baker still fighting it out. Shelley is ahead of Baker, and that's where he needs to be to finish up in 5th place in this championship to beat Baker for the top 5.
All right, so Shez leads them across the stripe, and 8 laps to go, should become 7 as we go across the stripe and under the monster Redstar Raceway bridge.
It's a magic battle for the top 3 here. It might get a bit closer between Mike White and Bosselov. I can tell you something. I think it's pretty much the top 3 that are going to be fighting for this year.
It's a shame. It's a shame that we won't see a new name making it onto the podium unless anyone actually makes a mistake in this top 3. But Mikey White has been a find this season. Certainly, skill package is there. He needs to not crash. He needs to find a slightly better setup on his bike, but he is definitely very, very close to one of those guys tickling a podium for next year.
If we look at the way things have gone here, and we've got to try and find some kind of rookie of the day. I've got to say rookie of the day so far, even though he's not a rookie, is Sheridan Rice. We can't really give that to him. But in terms of rookies of the day in the Super 600 class, Michael White would be up there, as would Adolf Bosselov. And Bosselov, I think, would take it due to the fact that he's finished both races.
Yeah, I think Bosselov will be there, but we'll have to see how it works out on aggregates. But yeah, it's going to be between those 2 boys. The race now is between those 3, both of the 3 of us.
Both of them.
And they are really starting to build the pace. When you look at the numbers as well, you can see that Adolf Bosselov and Mikey White there on the 155s. To be honest, they are matching the pace of the guys out front, but those little mistakes that they are making, those tenths, are just dropping them off the pace.
It's really great to see this little battle just starting to unfold here now, because Matthew Scholz can see a chance of getting past Stephen Odendahl. There are no more team orders. The team orders were sorted out in the last round when Odendahl took the championship. But as I said that, Scholz made a mistake. He looks down, and I think he might have lost the knee slider there. I saw something fly off. There might have been some debris on the circuit though, maybe just my incorrectly, but certainly was concerned about the right knee.
Right knee, okay, we'll keep an eye out for that as Blaze Baker goes Rossiing it and gets his place back on Shelley. These 2 are duking it out quite nicely, thank you very much. The gap between Sheridan Marias and Odendahl as they cross the stripe, 0.19. That's realistically absolutely information. Marias over Odendahl, Scott's Whitey over Bosselov. Kershaw, unfortunately, falling out the back door here.
And then it's the battle for 5th place in the championship, 6th place on the road. And that is Baker and Anthony they've matched each other very, very similarly all around the circuit. Baker, unfortunately, had an issue. Oh, we're right down by the center. Look and see. Yes,
Scholz.
Scholz has gone down. Scholz has gone down. So, I saw the marshal running.
That puts Mikey White into a podium position. Now he's going to work for it because Adolf Boshoff will have seen that as well. Mikey White, Magic Mike, on a chance here. And Greg, I know I'm going to start talking while you look at the maths, but Scott's absolutely fuming with what's just happened. He was in third place. He's outbraked himself or flicked himself off. We don't have the footage. And there's a change up in third. Boshoff is through. So Mikey White is in major trouble. And oh man, I just cannot believe what's going on.
That is a massive loss there for Michael White down a little bit further back. Look at that. He's still in with a shot though. He's not left him. He's still all over the back there. And hopefully we pick up on third and fourth place as the leaders come through. Here they come. 1 and 2. Look out for the third and fourth place. Just coming into our sight. There it is.
It's going to be
White
close.
is all over Boshoff. This is the fight for third place.
But Boshoff,
the final podium and for the rookie of the day.
Boshoff has just come through as well. So Mikey White, he needs to follow. Give it 2 laps. Take a breath. And then build.
Let's take a look back at the history of these two riders.
Mikey's trying to have a look now.
Mike White, Magic Mike as we like to call him, has been in this championship all season long. Adolf Boshoff, 15 years of age, stepped up 1 round ago at Swartkops. He has gone extremely well there. Unfortunately, crashed in the first one, didn't finish, didn't start the second race. He is podiumed at the last round, and he is looking for another podium here, and that will be just massive for him going into 2015.
Adolf Boshoff is definitely high on everyone's radar at the moment, and they are watching to see what he can do. He's got a lot to learn. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's a little bit wild out there, and sometimes it does bite him, but we are seeing him tame the beast. Mikey White, very, very smooth rider coming out of the GP 125s.
Mike White is looking there going, oh man, I had third place right there. Boshoff just capitalized at the right time on the track.
Look at the entry speed for Mikey White. He busted himself wide there. He's going to have to tame that in. 5 laps to go in this never-ending second heat of the Super 600s. Odendahl, sneaky look over the shoulder. No one's there, but
I think Odendahl was looking back just to confirm that Scholz is no longer there. I don't think he realized that he's actually lost Matthew Scholz completely. He would have gone past and seen a rider down, but maybe didn't see it was actually Matthew Scholz.
You know, Scholz was so close to his back wheel, and I've heard a rider go down right behind me. You hear the bike tumble, you hear the scrapes.
So battle for third place now is between Boshoff and Magic Mike White. Adolf Boshoff just hanging on for now, but Michael White is going to keep him honest right till the end of this 4 1/4 laps.
Mike has definitely got the advantage on entry. We always say that. His corner entry is bar to none. And he manages to keep the bike lined up in a straight line as well. And he runs tight lines. Mikey White is trying to build here, and there will be a chance of a pass. But we know that this is an incredibly strong bike under Adolf Boshoff.
Yeah, indeed. And as we're watching this battle unfold, I know that Guga Zulu just walked past our window, and he's got Matthew Scholz alongside him. So as soon as Guga is good to go, let's find out what happened there.
Yeah, I'm standing here with Matthew Scott. Matthew, what happened over there?
Unfortunately, I lost the front into turn 3, I think. My knee slider fell off on the second lap, so I was just trying to do the left hand as quick as I could in the right hand, as I was just taking it relatively easy. But Sheridan and Stephen had a really fast pace, but I did feel comfortable out there. But yeah, unfortunately, it ended with a crash.
Very unlucky, Matthew Scholz. Over to Matt and Greg.
Thanks, guys. Greg's spot there. It wasn't a bird, it wasn't a plane, it was a knee slider that went flying off. We saw that, remember a few years back with, I think it was Arusha Mudley when he was on the Suzuki. The year he won his championship, I remember him just falling so far off the pace without being able to touch his knee. It's a massive effect.
You can see just how difficult it is to ride a bike without a knee slider, and people are saying, you know, why are these guys putting their knee down? It's to get the maximum traction and the maximum corner speed that you can get out of these motorcycles, to get the tire to work at its optimum pressure, temperature and angle as well. And if you can't get it to that position, it's not going to help you through the corner, and that's why we're seeing Matthew Scholz on the sideline at the final race of the season.
Yeah, I would say the easiest way to explain knee down is it's a gauge. You actually telling yourself, just with the movement of your leg and how close it comes to the frame, how much lean angle you've got. If you cannot gauge that, you have no confidence through the turns, and it really affects you badly. It's a 2-horse race out front now, but the real story, to be honest, is that third place battle between the lighty Adolf Boshoff and Mikey White. Mikey White coming back from injury on the fight back trail, and I'm very keen to see who wins this race. I think I'm more keen to see who gets third.
It's going to be an interesting battle here. What I'm seeing right now is very similar to what we saw with Kinsella in terms of the Portable Straight Kawasaki team. Stephen Odendaal is quite happy to sit behind Sheridan. He knows that the pace is very equal. They're lapping on very equal times, both on 55s. But the 3 and 4 battle is certainly starting to heat up. And what is Michael White looking back?
You know what? And I also see when Mikey White he comes onto the back straight there, he actually comes out of the slipstream almost immediately. I just don't quite understand what he's playing at there.
Well, he's certainly
Does he not need slipstream?
Maybe not, eh? Maybe he's just going to hang tight.
He's
But
putting his hand up.
He's sitting up there.
Something's not lacquer with the bike. He's reacting, and I think he's got that intermittent problem back. I really hope that's not the case, because that caused him to actually retire last time around.
So Kershaw in 5th place is going to secure him what is 4th place in the championship. But the paddle behind him is for 5th place in the championship. And right now, Baker's got the advantage over the Furcor Kawasaki of Anthony Shelley. Russell Wood fitness machine. Not firing on all cylinders, and all went wrong in race 1. It's certainly going a lot better here in race 2, and Baker is now starting to open up a bit of a margin on Shelley.
And this track is a chink in his armor. I mean, he just doesn't run good here. I've seen him come up, the bike's loose. I've seen him come up and run the regionals as well. And he just cannot figure this track out. Blaze Baker has definitely got some homework to do for next year. There's a move. Mikey White is through for 3rd place.
Whatever
maybe
the issue
it's
was.
better to run with just one hand on the bars.
Well, maybe it is, and maybe just when he relaxes, he goes much better than what he was earlier on when he was putting pressure on himself, and that's exactly what's happened. He's got ahead of Bossov. I wonder if Bossov's picked up some kind of issue.
Oh, follow me. Mikey White tag in the back like he's racing go-karts. Follow me, buddy. Okay, let's go.
All right, so it's on now for the final podium position. And remember, the way things have gone right now, to try to pick a rookie out of these two is going to be very difficult, because if Michael White gets on the podium, and we've already had a podium out of Bossov, we're going to have to look at their pole positions and
I'll say
qualifying.
this, if Mikey White gets onto the podium, it'll be his first podium of the year. He has to be rookie. He has to be rookie of the day. But I can't believe what I'm seeing today. I've never seen more hands, feet, no U-pass. No U-pass. Don't know what's going on here. No one wants to take the win.
After you, sir.
Yeah.
Right, Magic Mike now trying to keep Bossov out. Can he do it? As we are starting the penultimate lap. He's just having it all out there.
He's just looking over his shoulder the whole time. All right, so maybe I can improve our lap times. Let's have a look at their lap times. Mikey White just threw in a 1:55.7. Adolf Bossov a 1. Bossov is actually on paper able to do a faster lap, but look how loose Bossov is on the brakes. Mikey White is planted.
Almost half a second quicker than Bossov on that last lap. 57.8 to 58.2. And as you said, their fastest lap times, Bossov is certainly 0.02 of a second quicker on their fastest lap. So with 1.5 laps to go, it's any man can win this.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm cheering for here. You know, I love to see the rookies, but I also love to see the fight back and a kid come good. And it would mean a lot to Mikey White to actually get tiptoe onto the podium. And the amount of time he's looking over his shoulder, he's making me nervous, man.
The way things are going right now, Michael White's going to get a podium. He's going to get a trophy. We've already got a trophy out of Adolf Bossov in the first one. So, yeah, what's going to happen in these two? This is what it's all about at the front, though. The show hangs on. Sheridan Moraes hanging on to the lead ahead of potentially a double victor here. And, of course, our newly crowned Super 600 champion, Stephen Odendaal. Odendaal with a big move here going into the bottom right. He's certainly upped the pace there dramatically as he came through. And now wants to try and go for the double. I think with a lap and one corner, one big straight to go, this is where Odendahl's going to try something.
Yeah, it's going to be late as you like on the brakes. And I mean, it's way past the boards, isn't it? It's so deep. Shez has like a middle line going in there because he's able to square it back Supermoto style. And there's no fight back for Odendaal there. It's drag racing, and we know that the R6 is looking good today. So now one more lap to go, but really, it's going to be all at the top of the hill again.
What are we going to see? Are we going to see that repeated at the end of this lap, or are we going to see Odendaal try and find a way through and make it a double victory on the day to seal his championship?
I think this is all about bragging rights. You mentioned that, and we spoke about it at length in the first race. Odendaal going for the big do or die there, totally blocks the line of Shez, and Shez was thinking about the pitch in. That was just completely letting off the brakes there, and Odendaal is wanting to walk away with a clean slate. Yeah, he's blocking. Shez is going to have to fight hard for this one.
Right, Sheridan Moraes going into the left-hander. It's a big triple left-hander. 3 apexes in that corner. Watch for the drive from the Yamaha, trying to get the slipstream on that Kawasaki down the first straight. There's a big left-hander. It's almost a 45-degree back on yourself corner at the end of this. Shez is on the inside. He has a look.
Everyone twitching lines there. Odendahl did a big fade. He held the left-hand line. He only went out to the right-hand side when he had to brake, and he is controlling this. We are down into the dog bones. It's very hard to make the pass count here. Never-ending right hand here. I hate this next left-hander. It just fades away from you. I just sweat it every single time. But there is no pass on here until you start building onto the back straight. Greg, we're running out of the lap.
Top of the hill is where it's going to happen.
I said it.
It's the only place that it can happen. Here we go.
Oh.
And Shez is not close enough, in my opinion. Let's see if we can get the slipstream now through the double right.
There's not a pass at the bottom here.
No.
If there's a pass, it's on the brakes at the top of the hill. But you are going to have to be a madman on the brakes. Odendahl twitches to the right-hand side. There is no pass this time around. There is no slipstream. Shez is doing a drag race all by himself, and he ain't close enough.
He is not close enough. Oh, look at that.
That was 90
Sheridan
degrees.
Rice at 90 degrees going into the final chicane. Tried hard, but he has been found wanting, and it's a double on the day for your new champion. Crowned in the last round. He takes a double victory, seals the deal on the portable Shane Kawasaki.
Smoke in that tire, and he was asked.
Where's he going?
He's going motocross. He was asked absolutely everything.
He's going to do a burnout on the dirt.
I don't think I've seen a rider
I
go
think he
that
just
far out.
cooked that incredibly badly, but nonetheless stays upright. Yeah, exactly that.
Bit of MX
A
style.
little drop onto the big track and back onto the
He
back
was
stop.
pushed to the absolute wire there. And it is third place for Mikey White. Look how the kid is reacting. He's pumped with that.
But look at that. There is no sign of Adolf Boshoff. He's dropped right out of it. Boshoff made a mistake on that final lap, and he's dropped completely out of it. So Michael White gets a podium at the last race of the season.
There's your rookie, buddy. And welcome to the winner's circle. What an incredible race. Huge lockup here. That's not a back down, gear down. That's standing on the back brake, lighting it up and just saying, I am the man. Oh, there's the grass. There's the dirt. And the cameraman is mercifully thinking, I'm offline. I'm not going to get tagged. That is just Odendahl celebrating the end of what has been an incredible 2014 season. He already wrapped up the championship before he even arrived at this round, but he has just beaten the best in Sheridan Marias, and he knows it. There is our answer. There's the down bike, and that's Scholz's bike. Whose bike is that? See whose bike that is. All right, so these guys are just cooling themselves down here. And here's confirmation, Odendahl over Marias, and Whitey finally hits the podium. He always looked good on this track the whole way through the season, coming back from his injuries. Kershaw recovers to a fourth ahead of Blaze Baker, and a complete free fall and a walk away for Scholzi. Not happy with that. That shot that we just saw was Scholzi's bike parked just in front of the Redstar Raceway Monster Energy Bridge. Here's confirmation of the final race of the season for the Super 600s. Provisional results show Stephen Odendahl taking the win, and he worked super hard for it, giving us one of the best shows of the season the whole way through the day, beating out Sheridan Marias. Those guys were doing outbraking, and eyeing each other up. A welcome to third place, Michael White, as he gets onto the podium for the very first time in his national Super 600 season. He beats out Nicholas Kershaw and Blaze Baker. Anthony Shelley did well for sixth place. Malcolm Rudman on the Yamaha in seventh, ahead of Dean Foss, beating out the M-Tech Racing brother Yamaha. And then Bjorn Espen first of the Triumphs on one of the older 675 machines. And Adolf Boshoff down there in 10th place. He free-falled with problems late on in the day. Nicole van Osbeeken got the 11th place. Keegan Vessels, the local kid, 12th place, and opening up his account for next season, ahead of Dylan Barnard, Ricky Lee Weir, and Matty Scholz. 6 laps in the bag and a retirement, just having a problem and pushing it too hard after losing his knee slider. So team owner Brad Anassis, big high fives, and these guys just putting on a show, enjoying it. Shez knows that he was in a fight there, and he pushed as hard as he possibly could. But Stephen Odendahl is the man, Sheridan Marias and him, the class of the field and the class of South African super sport racing at the moment. Greg Maloney's down there. He's going to be catching up with the boys, and it's all smiles. These boys can get their tan on now. It's holiday time from now until next season.
It certainly is, man. It's great to see such an effort being put on the final race. And as I've seen in a couple of races before, there's some luck going some guys' ways, luck going the other guys' ways. But fantastic to see the battle at the front end between the Portable Shade Kawasaki and the brother M-Tech Racing Yamaha. Sheridan Marais certainly came back with a flourish here this weekend to take on the best that South Africa has had this entire season. We're just waiting for our third place man to get through here. He's just ridden past by the looks of things. Yeah, we're going to have to go and fetch Michael White because he does need to get you for the podium. Hopefully they caught him and sent him back. Here he is! Oh, he's a happy man here, Matt. Let me tell you, you can see the smile through the visor of this Arai helmet. He really has put in an awesome effort there. It was a good battle between him and Adolf Boshoff. And that is really a very, very, very happy man here as he comes in. Dad's going to just put the bike onto the track stand. And now we're going to get them up onto the podium. Magic Mike has done it all right here. Super effort. He's going to have to help his dad get the track stand on. And the CRV build, Kawasaki, is going to go up into third place onto this podium. But let's get them up there as quickly as we can. Just waiting for Mike to get his helmet off. Give him a chance just to catch his breath, get some order in him. And we'll get this podium sorted out. Ladies and gents, it's Michael White, Magic Mike as we like to call him, on the CRV build Kawasaki that goes up into third place on the podium and also takes the Rookie of the Day for Super 600s. Let's get him up there onto third place. Well done, Mike. Second place, the brother M-Tech Racing Yamaha R6 of the Shez Show, Sheridan Marais. And certainly sealing the deal after wrapping up the championship at the previous round. He comes to the last round and does the dirty double on everybody. Pooch himself. A great effort there from Portable Shade Kawasaki, Stephen Undal. Third place and Rookie of the Day going to be handed up by Mr. Anthony Latza from Gas Sports to Magic Mike White. Second place by Mr. Wayne Riddell from Motorsport South Africa to the Shez Show, Sheridan Marais. And ladies and gents, we have kept the celebrations to the second race purely because we want to get these guys a chance to have some fun and games with the champagne. So first place today and a double victor, as well as your new Super 600 champion in the Monster Energy SuperGP Champions Trophy, Pooch Stephen Undal. That's the first time he gets that very sexy trophy, but let's give them a chance now to enjoy the spoils of race number 2. All right. Yes, indeed. That's what it's all about. Great effort there. Let's get in here, run out and have a chat to these guys. First and foremost with our Rookie of the Day. Rookie of the Day today, Michael. It's taken all season long to get you up onto the podium, but I'm sure you're very happy with the performance of the bike after race 1 and now getting it all sorted going into 2015.
Yeah, you know, we went to Bakisa. We had problems with the Bazaars. We came here, we battled the whole weekend, and once again the Gremlin came back. So race 2, we took it out, left everything out, and obviously it worked. So I was going to say well done to you, like really like champs. It was very, very hard, and this one goes out to Hendrik. Hi, my name's Mark, and I love motorbikes.
Awesome job, buddy. Well done, and now looking forward to 2015. This just is one way to go into 2015, building some confidence.
Yeah, you know, next year we have quite a few big sponsors coming in. We can't wait. Consortium shipping coming along. We're excited with getting everything sorted, and hopefully we'll be on the top step next year.
So we're looking forward to. Well done. Good effort, and we'll catch you later on. Let's get the show back in here again, Shez. Having a little quick chat there with some suspension gurus, eh? How did it go out there? I know it was tough, but certainly a lot better than race number 1, I think, because of the heat of the day coming in. It certainly made it a bit easier for you.
Yeah, look, it was hard because of the frontal race, so I'm sure the race time must have been a lot quicker now because every single lap we're in the 55. So, yeah, it was really, really good fun, eh? I'm hoping for more of a bit of a scrap, but yeah, Stephen and I think Matthew was there for a bit. All the guys rode really well, and you know the lap times are so fast. And like I said in my previous one, we're riding on SC2 tires, and we're doing lap times that we used to do on really soft rubber and that. So yeah, everyone's riding really well, and I had fun today.
An awesome job from the entire team to get you here. Cam Peterson, unfortunately, as you mentioned in race number 1, didn't quite have the season, but your other teammate, Dean Foss, has still been able to hang on and has got a top 3 in the championship.
Yeah, good. You know, Dean's been really consistent. Some really, really good results. But even when he's had problems, he's still finished races. So, yeah, Dean's done really well. So it's good to be in top 3 for the team. And, yeah, I just want to thank the team, Team MTech Yamaha. Thanks for the weekend.
I know you guys have got some big plans for overseas next year, but the team next year is also looking pretty tasty with the new R1s and R6s come into play. I think it's that time of the season, the silly season, where things are going to be asked and plans for next year.
Yeah, I'm over in the World Superbikes, and we're doing the local championship on R1s as well. So, yeah, I'm keen on it. This was my first race, just a taste for next year, yeah.
Looking forward to it, Chess. Thanks so much and all the very best. Great job there from Team MTech Racing. Where's Pooch? Let's get him back up here. Wowee. Yes, indeed, the first Super 600 champion of this particular championship. Looking good. But what a way to go and seal it, eh? Come here and show some of the top riders in the world that you've got what it takes to do a double.
Yeah, you know, it was really difficult though. Sheridan was so fast, you know, and we just managed our tyres a little bit better in this race. And, you know, I was really happy with the race pace. I didn't think I was going to get him there, but then I was like, shit, where else am I going to get him? So I decided to try the bomb. But, you know, he rode really well, and everyone else that was out there today, you know, I'm very happy with everything. First national championship, and I'm just going to go up from here.
You certainly are, because not only you won the national championship, you've also got some big plans for next year. We spoke about Chez's ones. You moving back into the same team, new machinery though, which is going to make you a little bit more competitive overseas. And of course, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, and I'm sure that's the way Brad and Nassas works, once you've got the championship, you stay with the team.
Yeah, I'm hoping to stay with the team, but next year for sure we're going to have a good year, looking for a Spanish win in the championship, the whole championship, and from there we can move to Moto 2, but you know, step by step and all the way to the top.
Exactly. Now we're going to ask you to come across here and enjoy the spoils of the championship with Mom and Dad, your two biggest supporters.
Well done, kid.